Moving on to question number 25. Examine the continuity of the function where f is defined by f of x equals sin x minus cos x if x is not equal to 0. So, ingeyume adhe case. I have x less than 0 and x greater than 0 to be the same function. Ipo first c equal to 0. Paakalama? So, first case I have c equal to 0, which means I have to look for both left hand limit and the right hand limit because I have a function where x is not equal to 0. Correct? Okay. Now, what is my f of x? My f of x is going to be the value that is marked here. Marked in gray. Okay, so it is going to be minus 1. F of x is minus 1. So f of c is also going to be minus 1. You see that there is no term which is dependent on the x. Correct? It is independent of x. So I'm going to have f of x and f of c. What is my left hand limit? Left hand limit is going to be limit x tends to 0 minus of f of x, which is going to be limit x tends to 0 minus of sin x minus cos x. When I substitute the value of the limit, I'm going to have sin 0 minus cos 0. Sin 0 minus cos 0. Sin 0 is a 0. Cos 0 is 1. So 0 minus 1 is going to be minus 1. Left hand limit minus 1. Now what is my right hand limit? Limit x tends to 0 plus of f of x equal to limit x tends to 0 plus of sin x minus cos x. Again, when I substitute the value of the limit, I'm going to have sin 0 minus cos 0. So again it's 0 minus 1, which is minus 1. So what is my final answer? It is going to be minus 1 for f of c, left hand limit and the right hand limit. So it is continuous at x is equal to 0. First case mudinjadu. Continuous at x equals 0. So what is my next case? I need to look for c less than 0. Correct? C less than 0 and c greater than 0, which is going to be combined as c not equal to 0. Okay. Now what is my f of x? F of x is going to be sin x minus cos x. So what is my f of c? It is going to be sin c minus cos c. So sin c minus cos c irukku. Ipo limit edukanum. So I have limit x tends to c of f of x, which is going to be limit x tends to c of sin x minus cos x. So in the edathila my usually what do? We substitute x is equal to c plus h. In the edathila c oda value enna? Again it is going to be x is equal to 0 plus h. So you are going to have sin h minus cos h, where your h is going to tend to 0. Correct? So in the mari பண்ணும்போது இதெல்லாம் நம்ம previous question la பண்ணிட்டோம். So I'm not going to do it again for you. When I substitute the value of the limit, I'm going to have sin c minus cos c. So what do you see here? Sin c minus cos c here and sin c minus cos c here. So you see that it is continuous for c not equal to 0. So basically it is continuous everywhere. Okay? Continuous for all real numbers. Okay? Please take a screenshot or pause the video and copy. Question number 26. Find the values of k so that the function f is continuous at the indicated point. Any indicated point? It is x is equal to pi by 2 in this case. So you have to prove that it is continuous at x is equal to pi by 2. Okay. So what is my first step? First left hand limit, right hand limit rendume kandupidikkanum for the case c equal to pi by 2. Correct? So I have c equals pi divided by 2. This is my first case. So what is my f of x? F of x is going to be at pi by 2. It is 3. So f of c is also going to be 3. So f of c kandupidichachu, f of x kandupidichachu. Now the limit. So left hand limit is going to be limit x tends to pi by 2 minus of k cos x divided by pi minus 2x. So in the இடத்துல pi by 2 substitute பண்ணா என்ன ஆக போகுது? I'm going to have, when I substitute pi by 2 directly, I'll have cos pi by 2 divided by pi minus 2 pi by 2. So in the இடத்துல 2 and the 2 will get cancelled. So I'll have cos pi by 2 is 0 divided by pi minus pi is going to be again 0. So 0 by 0 it's not defined. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to use a substitution method. So I'm going to write x is equal to c plus h. So pi by 2 plus h. What is your value of c here? Pi by 2. Okay. So now what is your h? X minus pi by 2. If a limit enna agum, when I change the variable, I'm going to change the limit also. So if x tends to pi by 2, h tends to pi by 2 minus pi by 2, which is going to be 0. So h tends to 0. If a limit eppadi maarum, my limit changes like this. Limit h tends to 0 minus of k cos x badal I'm going to substitute pi by 2 plus h divided by what is my denominator? Pi minus 2 times pi by 2 plus h. So instead of the x, I'm substituting the value of pi by 2 plus h. In the இடத்துல x irka, so I'm substituting the value of pi by 2 plus h. Now what does my limit look like? So when I solve this, it is limit h tends to 0 minus of k times cos pi by 2 plus h enna? Cos of, I'll write it in a different color. So I have cos 90 plus theta. Cos 90 plus theta na in the quadrant la irukku. This is my 90 line. 90 plus theta na we are in the second quadrant. So it is all silver tea cups. Cos of 90 plus theta is going to be sin theta. But when we are dealing with cos, only sin is positive in the second quadrant. Cos is negative, correct? So it is going to be minus sin theta. So cos of 90 plus theta is going to be minus sin theta, correct? So cos of 90 plus h, pi by 2 plus h is going to become minus sin h divided by, in the இடத்துல pi minus, I'm going to multiply the 2 inside. So I'm going to have 2 times pi by 2 plus 2h. Minus innum bracket ku veliyile dhaan irukku. So this gets cancelled. Now I'm going to open the bracket. So I have limit h tends to 0 minus of minus k into sin h divided by pi minus 2h. When I open the bracket, the minus goes inside. So I have minus pi minus 2h. So if in the limit enago, it becomes limit h tends to 0 minus of minus k sin h divided by pi minus pi is a 0 and I have minus 2h. So the minus and the minus will get cancelled. The minus and the minus will get cancelled and I can take the k divided by 2 outside the limit because they are constants, correct? So if a constant na limit vittu veliyila edutha, what will I have? K divided by 2 times limit h tends to 0 of sin h divided by h. 0 minus, we are dealing with left hand limit. So k by 2 times limit h tends to 0 minus of sin h divided by h. Enna theriyum? I have limit h tends to 0 of sin h divided by h is equal to 1. You learnt this in limits and derivatives in your class 11th, correct? Okay, now this becomes k divided by 2 times 1, which is going to be k divided by 2. Super. So we have found out what our left hand limit is. So this is our left hand limit. I found out what my left hand limit is. I have also found out what my f of c is, which is 3. So in that they are asking me to find the value of k, correct? I need to find what my value of k. My right hand limit is also going to give me the same answer, correct? What is my f of x for right hand limit? It is going to be the same thing. So I'm going to do the same steps. I'm going to do all these similar steps. So I'm going to get the right hand limit also to be k by 2. So I'm going to have limit x tends to pi by 2 plus of f of x. I'm going to get the same value similarly, okay? Similar to the previous steps. Now, left hand limit equal to the right hand limit equal to limit x tends to pi by 2 of f of x because it is given that the function is continuous. Because the given function is continuous. It is given in the question, correct? See, if the function is continuous, then find the value of k. In the I need to find the value of k. So if left hand limit equals to the right hand limit, I will have k divided by 2 equals, what is my f of c from this? It is going to be 3. So I have k by 2 equals 3. So k equals 6. Okay, pretty simple. So this is my final answer. Please copy.